Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. On today's show, how big of an impact will Josh Gordon make with the Patriots? Plus, Shannon explains why he stands with his fellow Hall of Famers threatening to boycott the Hall. And is the Steelers' locker room on the verge of unraveling? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Josh Gordon is now a Patriot. Gordon's tumultuous 7 seasons with Cleveland are over after the Patriots traded a 5th-round pick to get him. He led the league in receiving yards back in 2013, but after multiple suspensions for violating the league's substance abuse policy, he's only played in 11 games since then. D'Angelo Hall is back joining us today, and on yesterday's show, you mentioned that you would not give up a draft pick to go get Gordon. So are you surprised that New England made this move?
I am surprised. I'm a little surprised because New England is probably the most successful organization when it comes to being run from top to bottom. They seem to always have a plan. They seem to execute that plan, and everyone seems to always be on the same page. But I think you saw last week in kind of the handing over of the mantle to Jacksonville that, hey, man, we still feel like we can win a lot more games and a lot more championships. Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, they need a guy like Josh Gordon. And so they want to take the risk. Mm-hmm. I think it is a risk, though, because I don't know if you can trust Josh. Can he help you? Absolutely. We all said that. It's no doubt about it. He is a great football player when he's playing. But I don't know if Josh can get his stuff together to actually help this team out. But if you're Josh, if you're friends of his, if you're New England, it's no better place than New England for him because we've done it the right way for so long. We have guys in that locker room that if he's not going to listen to anybody, you kind of got to listen to Tom Brady. If you're not going to listen to anybody, well, when it comes to like a Hugh Jackson who's always joking around, having fun with you, Bill Belichick is the total opposite of that.
He's the total opposite.
He's the guy who demands respect from everybody. He demands you to get in line.
Or you'll be gone.
Or you'll be gone. And so, yes, it's a risk, but, I just think they feel like teams are going to start doing what Jacksonville did, taking Gronk away, making everyone else beat them. And if you had a guy like this, it's going to be hard to do that.
Exactly. But this is a risk that only the Patriots could take because they have the type of locker room and they have the type of structure that can handle a Josh Gordon. Mm-hmm. And Coach Belichick doesn't have a problem. Oh, this is not working. Bye. He doesn't care how much money he's paid you. He doesn't care where he drafted you at. If you're not panning out for the Patriots, if you're not doing what Coach Belichick deemed, this is what I think this guy should do, this is what I think he can do. You don't do that, you up out of there. Skip Bayless, look, this is what I know. Having played in 14 years, and I don't know how you feel about this, D. Hall, I like structure. And more times than not, players work well under structure. I don't know the structure of Cleveland, but I do know the structure of New England. This is the way you do it. You come in there, as a matter of fact, you don't check your ego at the door. You leave it at home. So when you start on your way to New England to go to work, you have no ego. You are faceless. You are a nameless. You are a New England Patriot. Forget your name. Well, this is what Josh Gordon has to do. He has a blank slate. Now, what he had going on in Cleveland, New England say, bruh, we wiped you clean. Don't come here with that foolishness. The question is, Skip, Josh Gordon does really well when he's playing football. Unfortunately, football is not a year-round thing. They don't play football every Sunday year-round. What happens when he doesn't have the New England structure of the locker room, of practice, of meetings, or being on a plane traveling to and from the games? What happens then? Skip, just because I don't trust him, Skip, I tell people all the time, just because I don't trust somebody, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Maybe you should be leery or look, hey, I know I'm a pretty good judge of character. But what he did in Cleveland, maybe he comes in and he'd be a model citizen in New England. But I wouldn't be willing to run that risk. But I understand why New England, you watch those receivers on Sunday, Skip, baby? Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
So what did I tell both of you yesterday? I'm speaking with my heart, not my head, because all your points are head points, and they're all well taken, and I don't disagree with one word either of you just spoke. But I said yesterday, if I'm Jerry Jones, I risk a 5th-round pick, high risk, high reward to see if I could make something out of Josh Gordon for a football team that doesn't have a number 1 or a number 2 receiver. We got a collection of 3s at best. And maybe this could be your next Dez Bryant. And then what happened? I have to open up my computer in the middle of the afternoon and see that flashing breaking news headline, and my heart falls in my stomach because it just makes me sick at my stomach. The plunger Jerry Jones sat on his laurels again, his Hall of Fame laurels. He's in the Hall of Fame now. He doesn't need to do anything else. Right. And I keep waiting for him to send one little message or one big message to his locker room. I'm all in for 2018. We're close, so I'm going to go get you Sammy Watkins. Nope, I came in second for Sammy Watkins. I'm going to go get Earl Thomas. No, I offered a 2, but then they jerked the rug out from under me and said, no, we want a 1, so I'm all out on that deal. Am I going to go get Josh Gordon for a 5? No, I'm going to let Bill Belichick take him for a 5. And I agree with all your points. Obviously, the structure is in place where if Josh has a long shot at making it in this league, that's where he will make it with Tom Brady.
He can't be late to work. He can't be
cannot.
anything. It's over.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was close to the Randy Moss situation when he was in Oakland. Again, This is back in 2006, and he was just a disaster. He quit on them. It looked like he had quit on football. It looked like his body had given out. He was turning 30 years of age, and I thought he was flat out done, maybe heart done with pro football.
Yeah.
And what happened the next year? He winds up for nothing for a song. He goes to Belichick and Brady, and the next thing I know, records are falling like crazy. And he goes from catching 3 touchdowns the year before to an NFL record 23 touchdowns. Now, is Josh Gordon, Randy Moss on the football field? No, because he can't run like that. Because Randy could run 4.2.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He could just fly. High football IQ, great, not good hands, great hands. Josh has very good hands, and he's more power. You covered him. He's more power built. 6'3", 225, 230
Well,
or so.
I don't recommend
right?
turning your hands like that to catch a football, but okay.
I think you caught him in a wrong. That's a bad picture.
I hope that's warm-up. He's just playing around.
I don't know what he's doing, but I did like what Rob Ninkovich said on WEEI, a former Patriot leader, obviously.
Sure.
And I'll just paraphrase his quotes, but he said that he questions Josh's love for the game if you get suspended that many times.
Right.
Well, I question his love for himself, and he's talked about that. I don't love myself enough, and when I don't love myself, I just give up and go over the edge into really bad stuff.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Skip, because think about it, and people, look, maybe he's graduated, but in the beginning, it was marijuana. It was weed. Mm-hmm. And people are like, weed's not addictive. Well, you tell me what you can't sit down for $60 million, and I say whatever it is addictive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's as simple as that. If you can't stop, regardless of the ramifications, that's an addiction.
And weed led to this, and then it led to that, and then it led to that.
Yes.
You know, that's how bad that got. And I told you, he wound up, it's only like a year and a half ago, living with Johnny Manziel right here in West Hollywood, and there was some stuff going down in that apartment that's not a pretty sight. So the point is, I hope he saved himself. I told you, I've gotten to know him a little bit. I like him. He's deep. I root for him because he's got Hall of Fame ability. I mean, Hall of Fame. And I don't throw that phrase out loosely. Has he lived up to it or proved it? And Ninkovich concluded he didn't even like what he did Saturday. He said he let his teammates down. He goes to some promotional, endorsement shoot and allegedly pulls his hamstring. I don't know. I mean, that's a bad sign. All these are bad signs. Yeah. His whole history's a bad sign.
You would have thought, Skip, after the first, they believed in him. And everybody believed, like you said, D. Hall, yesterday, everybody believes that I can be the guy that changed it. Mm-hmm. Well, he's going to be different under my watch. But at some point in time, Joshua just has to come to the conclusion, this is on me. I've gotten all the help they can give me. At some point in time, and you can't put yourself, Skip, if you're an alcoholic, you can't go in a bar. You can't put yourself in harm's way. Josh, if you have these issues, the friends that you hang around that put you in this situation, you got to let them go. You have to know who you are, what you are, and avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, we're about to see what he's made of.
Yes.
And I'm going to bet he's made of the right stuff.
I hope so.
I think he's going to be the next Randy Moss for these guys. And if he is,
if anybody
can
change him, it's that New England way, without a doubt.
This is the missing piece to this puzzle. Because if he gets Edelman back and Josh is what I think he could be.
Jalen Ramsey. You won't be able to have Gronk. You have your hands full because that's a monster.
That's what I said.
That's a monster out there now. That's a heavyweight.
It's a big boy.
That'll be a good one.
Be a good match.
That'll be a good one, Skip. We might have to go on the road if they play in the championship. Jacksonville, New England, Josh Gordon and Jalen Ramsey.
All of a sudden, I'm thinking maybe it's in Foxborough now.
Oh.
All I know is Jacksonville, we beat you head to head. So right now, we 2-0, y'all 1-1.
Do you think it's all Jackson? It's Jacksonville's world and New England's just living?
Not betting,
No,
I'm not betting on
I
no
wouldn't.
Blake
I wouldn't
Bortles.
say that. I'm not saying it's Jacksonville's world, but I think everyone's starting to see now that New England can be beat. This is the formula to beat them. You know, I mean, when you're at the top and someone beats you.
They know they're vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean,
the formula is Blake Bortles throws for 500.
But here's
right?
the thing, though, Skip.
Well, he
New
played a
England,
heck of a game.
you have
Yeah,
to
we
play
don't know
your
if that's
best.
going to happen every game, but you know, and Leonard Fournette wasn't even there.
He wasn't?
Add him to the punt.
But the thing
I
is,
think they in
New
good
England
shape.
can beat you not playing their best. You have to play
Yeah.
your best or
Yeah.
damn near your best
There
to
you
beat
go.
them.
Especially
There
your
you go. That's the
quarterback.
difference.
Yeah, because you're really competing against him. You're not worried about their defense. You're competing against Tom Brady because he's going to get you.
Yeah.
And I'm
At
looking
some
forward to
point.
Sunday when they head to Detroit to face their former D coordinator,
Boy,
Matt
Coach
Patricia.
Belichick going to hang 50 on me.
Like, it could be really good or really ugly. It could be bad. Okay, well, did the NFL get the Clay Matthews call right or wrong? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
The NFL said the roughing the passer call against Clay Matthews late in the fourth quarter Sunday was the correct call. A league source reiterated yesterday that the, quote, technique of grabbing the passer from behind the leg or legs and scooping and pulling in an upward motion is a foul. The NFL's senior VP of officiating said he will remind clubs that the penalty has been on the books for several years and is not considered part of this season's point of emphasis related to defensive players landing on the quarterback. We're joined once again by D'Angelo Hall. All right, you buying that explanation?
Heck no, I'm not buying
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
When you make the
Here we
rules
go.
anything, you can interpret it any way you want to. And that's the problem with the NFL in general. When you make the rules and you're the appealing body that I have to go appeal to, at the end of the day, like Clay said, they're going to find, we're going to turn it in. They're going to find a way to justify it. And I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to be wrong. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm going to be wrong. And I don't think it was a roughing the passer. I've seen guys get roughed before, and it is an actual scoop. It is a picking that guy up. It is throwing all your body weight on that guy. I didn't see that at all with Clay, and that's what's so frustrating. At some point, you have to let the guys play football. I mean, we did sign up to play football. You have to let them play football, and it's not becoming football anymore. It's turning into something else, a hodgepodge of 7-on-7 mixed with a little, ultimate flag where you got shoulder pads on. You can hit a little bit if they're close to the sideline, but this isn't football at this point, man. You got to let these guys play football.
So would you convince the Hall of Famer sitting across from me?
Oh, no, I can't convince him because he's an offensive guy. He's going to somehow find a way to say.
I think he's.
D-Hall, what does this game revolve around? The what position?
Quarterbacks.
Exactly.
But check this out, though. Would there ever be a Tom Brady if Drew Bledsoe did get hurt? No.
Probably not.
So, though I feel bad about a quarterback getting hurt, it's part of playing football.
I get it.
If he gets hurt, let's see how good your scouting department was. Let's see how good your front office was in getting in
NFL
putting
don't care
his
about the
backup
scouting
in.
department.
I understand that.
They want Tom Brady.
I understand. They do.
Yes.
They do. But without Tom getting hurt, it was no Jimmy G. It was no Matt Castle. All these guys who got a chance to play because Tom, suffered an injury. You never want to see a guy get hurt, but it's part of football.
It is.
And so I don't think that play put Kurt in danger of getting hurt. It's other plays where you see these guys actually launching and throwing their whole body weight into a guy. Yes, he has the potential to get hurt. Let's try to keep him out of that situation. But man, they took the game from Clay. And it's hard as a player when you're playing those 11 guys in another jersey, but then when you feel like you have to fight against the referees as well, that's tough, man. That's tough on anybody.
Yeah. So you convinced?
No,
you
no.
Give up. Back off.
I wish I could tell you something to make you guys feel better, but I can't because I understand what the NFL is doing. The NFL wants scoring, and they want Tom Brady, they want Aaron Rodgers.
They don't want scoring, they want spinning.
And
They're spinning.
And they want all their guys on the field.
So
They changed the rules. They changed the rules to accommodate Tom Brady because they don't want you to hit him in his knee. They changed the rule so they don't want you breaking Aaron Rodgers' collarbone. They broke Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you know what's going to end up happening? Green Bay's going to miss the playoffs by one game. And it's going to be because of that one play right there that Jair Alexander picks it off, the game's over.
Right.
Over.
It's
It's
over.
over.
And
It's at Lambeau Field.
Now, I promise you, it's going to come down to that one game because it always does. And so now we're talking about how they took the ability of this team to make a playoff run.
You know what, Skip?
And that's the tough part is when you take somebody's ability to win a game or lose a game. And
would you rather have Aaron Rodgers there the entire season and then miss the playoffs by one game, or Aaron Rodgers knocked out for the rest of the season?
Well, obviously, I want him to be upright.
But the hit's still the hit. He still would have gotten hit, whether it's a flag or not a flag.
Well, they don't want you to do that anymore.
But the guys are still doing it. So my thing is,
it'll calm them down.
You're taking it away from.
It's gonna calm them down anyway.
So now I get why you spend so much time in spin class, because you're trying to learn to speak for the NFL. Right? You become all establishment now, right? So this is so wrong on so many levels, and I think you see it, but you just don't want to admit it.
No, he scooped him a little bit. He scooped him just a little bit.
He did not scoop him at all. There was no scooping. There was no burping. Burping? Burping? Did he pick him up?
Yep.
Did he throw him down?
Yeah.
Did he body slam him?
Yeah.
No. You know what? It was actually a simple textbook arm tackle. That's all it was. He was there on time. He was not late. It was not a late hit. There's obviously no helmet to helmet. There's no hand to the head. There's nothing going on there. He just wraps him around the waist and takes him gently down. By most sack standards, it's just kind of a gentle takedown. There's no body weight involved here at all.
Little shoulder.
There's no body weight on top of Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins said after the game, it was actually, to quote him, a generous call. It was very generous.
Quiet, Kirk.
Yeah. I mean, I used to despise what I can call the continuation plays, where the ball would be gone, the passer's watching the ball hang in the air to see if it's complete, and all of a sudden they would allow 300-pounders just to finish their rush and come blowing on top of them, full body weight on the ground, slamming your collarbone against the turf, right? That's just wrong, and that's not what happened here. It was a gentle little takedown, and it was on time. He got there just as the ball was leaving the hand. It's another wild Kirk Cousins interception. It ends the game.
He did not scoop that man, Shannon. He did not scoop that man.
D-Hall.
It was right on time.
This is what's at the crux of this. This is not about whether the flag or not. It's the fact that it was Kirk Cousins. And then it would have played.
But he did what he always does.
But what happened to Tom Brady when he got hit in the Jacksonville game?
Yeah, what did happen?
That to me was.
Two things can be true.
Ngakoue.
Because they missed Ngakoue doesn't mean that Clay didn't commit a foul.
Or it could be the other way around. Just because they called Clay as a roughing the passer doesn't make it true.
Yeah, it is true.
It doesn't make it true.
I'm have to side with it. But D-Hall, you know how this goes. They've hit a lot of quarterbacks in their knee, and it wasn't until Brady got hit in his knee that they changed the rule. It wasn't until Aaron Rodgers went down last year with Aaron Barr put his weight on him and broke that collarbone, because Thomas Davis did the same thing to Tony Romo, Skip, on Thanksgiving.
But he bounced on him. You can't bounce on him. He bounced right on his collarbone. Like Jordan Hicks re-broke that collarbone in Philadelphia. He just came full weight down on Romo after the ball's gone. It's just like, it's an incredibly cheap play because you're way bigger than he is, and you got him over on the out of the pocket, and you just crash down on his collar. What do you think's going to happen?
Hey, you football, you got pads, you got helmet, so that means we can hit you.
Okay.
You ain't in practice with a red jersey on where they can't hit you.
Okay, now you're making our case.
No, I'm just
right?
No, Skip. I'm just saying the rules. This is what they're saying. We're not gonna. They like
the big thing was about body
weight. You hurt the quarterback.
So what do you have to say to Mike Pereira and Dean Blandino? They both said that this was not a roughing the passer, and they're two former head of referee that I respect very well. And for those guys,
I respect them. They work here. They're absolutely right, but they're absolutely wrong.
I think you just got unconvinced of your position.
No, you tried to get my gig taken away from me.
I'm not trying to get your gig taken away. I just want you to admit what's in your heart.
Scooped him.
He did not scoop him.
Skip,
he didn't even pick him up off the ground.
Jenny, you know when you're going away, you've been like you at the Olympics.
Yes.
You're at the World Cup.
Yeah.
And you came back, your husband hadn't seen you in a while. You saw him, you came running, you jumped up in the arm, you scooped him.
What did you hug?
No, I'm talking about her husband.
Oh, I thought you meant him.
And Jenny saw him like, oh, honey. She went running. Scooped him.
It's a great example.
Yeah.
That's a really great
Really
So,
good example.
so Kurt, look at Kurt. He's on one leg.
Jumping
He's on
in the air.
he was jumping on that one leg to throw it because he know Clay's coming. And then Clay scooped it ever so slightly.
Did his
Ever so-
foot leave the ground?
Yeah.
No, he
Clay
did
feet
not.
did not leave the ground.
No. No, you don't have to leave the ground with so much.
Yes,
No,
you do.
Kirk
No.
Cousins' feet did
Yeah,
not.
Yeah,
I got to
Kurt-
scoop you. I
Yeah,
got to jump up.
Right. Oh, look at him. He didn't
jump up.
Do we need a demo? Like the amount of
Yeah, I gotta
scooping
jump
going
up
on
when you scoop.
here.
No.
I can't just run you down.
No,
with the
because-
ground.
Foot doesn't even leave the
Because
ground.
Kurt was up in the air, which put him at shoulder pad level
Look
with
at Clay.
Clay.
No feet are off the ground.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit at the end, but
Yeah,
normally,
yeah.
Jenny, you see a lot more than that.
That's all
you
we
see
did.
a total
so you know what he did?
True.
Hey, and that's why you saw he gave him a little flag. He didn't throw it too high.
He didn't even want to throw the flag. That's my
No,
problem.
he
with
threw
it.
it way up in there. He just did like
My problem is when
Like a
refs see
flag.
that, they throw the flag immediately. His eyes
Okay.
are looking at it the whole time.
He's like, yeah, he got
and
it.
he waits. And he waits. Because for a second, I didn't think he threw the flag.
Oh, I
I'm
saw
like,
it.
did
I
the
said,
flag
yeah,
come
that's
from
a flag.
somewhere
I said,
else?
that's a flag. Because I need to keep going.
He
'cause I
took a
need Kirk
while.
Cousins.
He took a
So
while to
this
throw
is
that
where we
flag,
are
though.
right now. If the pass rusher touches the quarterback, it's a foul.
If he falls,
am I right?
You got to
It's a
sling him
foul.
down. You basically got to sling him down. You got to sling him down.
No,
hard
what
to
do you mean
play
sling
football
him
now.
down?
I mean, just throw him.
You can't do
Yeah,
anything.
you can throw. You can throw him.
You got to pull up like it's a punt.
No.
Like it's the punch you didn't block.
How
and you
about
can't
this?
rough
You
it.
got to come off the side
what I'm
beamer
saying.
ball.
No, you just got to lay out. Just run through him and don't let. Yeah, just
What?
just run through him.
No, you can't touch
Yeah, you can
him.
do that. Just don't land on him. Just don't land on him. Can't land on him.
Land on him?
Yeah, can't.
What about like a little arm tackle and like gently lay him on the
No.
turf?
It's a good point, though, that it's harder to play.
Yeah,
I mean, these
absolutely.
rules are making it.
That's
more
why you see these
complicated.
quarterbbags throwing for 406 touchdowns every
And
week.
playing forever.
And the
They
wide
don't
receiver.
get hit.
There you go. That's why everybody's talking about.
they don't get
Think
hit.
about it. I had never heard a quarterback until say like the last 4 or 5 years talk about playing until they're 45. John Elway never talk about playing until 45. None of these guys. But now because they're protected, they want to play till 50.
No, it's because they discovered pliability.
No, they discovered that they discovered that the NFL will protect them.
I figured you would like this call because of Tom.
Yeah, but Tom didn't get a call.
Okay,
Golden Boy
The one
didn't get
time
a
he
call.
didn't get- if he don't get any more calls, he got tuck rule. He don't need any more
I'll
calls the
give you
rest
that.
of his life.
He got the tuck
He did
rule.
get
He
that
did.
one.
That's
That got the party started.
Launched the dynasty.
D'Angelo, thank you for being here.
No mercy.
We have some breaking news this morning. Our Rob Parker reported that some members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame have threatened to boycott next year's ceremonies unless they are given an annual salary, health insurance, and a share of league revenue. Our own Eric Dickerson has led the charge, and a group of Hall of Famers, including guys like Deion Sanders, Jerry Rice, Jim Brown, wrote a letter to Roger Goodell, the Players Association, and the Hall of Fame saying, quote, "Until our demands are met, the Hall of Famers will not attend the annual induction ceremony in Canton." Now, Rob Parker is with us. Rob, great stuff.
Thank you. Good morning. And if you want to check it out, it's theshadowleague.com. You could also read the entire letter there on the website.
Okay, and we are going to get your opinion on it, but I do want to start with Shannon because
He's a Hall of Famer.
obviously you are the Hall of Famer, but not a part
By
of
the
that
way,
list.
yeah, not on this list.
So
yeah.
what is your
Yeah, he
reaction?
put my name on there. I'm upset. I support him, Skip.
Okay.
It's sad that it's come to this. They shouldn't have to be fighting for this. This should have been something that was negotiated a long, long time ago. If you play, I believe, I'm a firm believer, if you are a vested player, if you play the vested number of years, which is 3 years in the NFL, you should receive lifetime health benefits. That should have been negotiated. I hate that the Hall of Famers are having to be placed in this situation to fight for everybody. And I know it's just the Hall of Famers, and they're talking about, and I know people are going to say, well, what about the guys that are not a Hall of Famers? Well, you got to start with somewhere. And the only asset, the only thing that the Hall of Famers have is their presence. When you turn on, yeah, it's an induction, but you look up there on the stage and you see all those gold jackets, you see all the Hall of Famers. So if you see a whole bunch of empty chairs, that's really probably the only thing that's going to get the Hall of Fame and the NFL's attention. Look, for me, I've done okay with my money. Let me take that back. I'm lying. I've done well. I've done better than okay.
Okay.
I got with my attorney, Marvin Demoff, in 1996. The very first thing he said, he told me, Skip, he says, I'm going to always tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. He says, what do you want? I says, I want this lifestyle. I have this many kids. How do I do it?
Yeah.
He says, do this. I did everything he said. I'm well off. Take care of my kids, put them through college. I'm good.
Okay.
but everybody is not like Shannon. A lot of guys didn't make the money, and I made okay money, not like these guys making, but I'm good.
Yep.
But the guys that came before Shannon and the guys that came before them didn't make that money. And they're hurt. I mean, I see some of the guys walking around, Skip, it's sad. It breaks my heart, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, is that going to be me in another 5 years? Is that going to be me in 10 years? I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to have health care, and I can provide health care for me and take care of my sister. And
By the way, I don't believe that's going to be you in 5 years.
Right.
Go ahead.
And I'm like, but Skip, it's so sad that the Hall of Famers had to be put in a situation like this. And people ask me all the time, what do you get for going to the Hall of Fame? I say, they don't send out checks. I say, you get a very nice ring and you get a bust. I said, but that's it. You don't, I mean, it's the fact that you're one of the Pantheon greats that played your particular sport. But I commend Eric Dickerson, who's the chairman of this, and all the great names that you see. But Skip, there's so many more. I think there's 180 living members.
Okay.
And for the most part, all of them are not like Shannon. Some are better. Some of the Elways and the Marinos and Troy Aikmans did very, very well.
They're not on this list.
They're not on this list.
Okay.
But when you got a Jim Brown,
you got some
and Jerry
heavyweights.
Rice and the Dion.
You got some big ones on you.
Yes.
Derek Brooks, for that
Yes,
matter.
yes.
I have nothing but respect for Derek.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how do you feel about the demand for an annual salary for Hall of Famers?
For me, Skip, I don't want anything. So if I whatever salary they give me, to take that up, if it's $5,
keep it in the pot.
Give it to the other players. I'm good. Now, would I like the health benefits? Sure. But if I don't give it to the guys that need it. And I understand what Eric Dickerson and these guys are trying to do. But Shannon's okay. And when I sign things, when I do things for the Hall of Fame, Skip, I don't take money. I say give it to the guys that are not in good a shape as Shannon Sharpe. I'm good. But I understand what they're trying to do, and I commend them. And I hate to be placed in this situation, but they say we want this or we not going. I hate it because my very good friend Tony Gonzalez is going into the Hall of Fame. He'll be a Hall of Famer. But if they say we're not going, Shannon Sharpe's going to be right here in L.A.
Really?
Wow.
And that's the only way. It is strong, but that's the only way you get things moved. That's why I understand why some other players will push back and say, well, what about us? And I get all that. But how do you get the league's attention to move and do something? You have to have the biggest and brightest stand up and be willing to sacrifice and willing to say, we're not going to go to Canton. You see the commissioner makes a lot of money.
40+ million, jet, and lifetime medical.
He has lifetime health care. And then you also have...
Wait, say that again. 40 million.
40 million.
A year. Go ahead.
And use of a private jet and lifetime medical.
All right.
And then you got to look at the building. They're going to break ground on $1 billion structure in Canton for the Hall of Fame. So they see this money. They see and they read every day the league generates $14 billion. And there are, as you talked about, Hall of Famers. That's why I admire Eric Dickerson to take this on, galvanize, rally the troops to say, if we don't stand up and ask and demand what we're looking for, it'll never happen. They're never going to come because they haven't done it to this point.
No, they're not going to do it.
And they're not going to just come over and go, oh, wait a minute, what are we thinking?
We should do this.
Yeah, we should take care of you guys. So you have to force the issue, and the only way, I agree, if you turn on, and here's one thing. They broadcast the whole Hall of Fame thing. What about the broadcast money or rights or advertisers that come from that? They could use that and pull that money and say, we're going to give this to the Hall of Famers.
By the way, it's one of my favorite shows of the year.
Okay, and so there's one that they could make money off of. They could do a lot of other things, licensing. I don't, come up with ways to generate money to make sure these guys, maybe not Shannon Sharpe, who's okay, but other people who really need it. And that was the thing I got from the letter. And then the comparisons to like Major League Baseball, where you only have to have a cup of coffee and a sweet roll, and you get a pension one day in Major League Baseball.
One day, and you get health insurance
for
life.
life. That's all you have to make a roster one day.
And you mean to tell me a player that plays in the NFL for 3 years can't get that same deal, health benefits for life, after playing 3 years of the most brutal, organized sport that you can play? Come on, NFL. Skip, they got to check. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, if a team just say, you know what, we're going to put $2 million a year aside so we can have these players, our players have lifetime medical benefits for the rest of their life. could do it in no problem.
Okay. So just to frame the power behind this movement, starting with Eric Dickerson, who's the head of it, I'm just going to name the power names here. Marcus Allen, Derek Brooks, Jim Brown, Earl Campbell, Ronnie Lott, Joe Namath, Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders, Lawrence Taylor. Those are heavyweights. So it's just not like five guys are trying to splinter.
Oh, no, this is big.
Okay. The only two quarterbacks are Joe Namath and Kurt Warner.
Right.
So you got a whole bevy of superstar quarterbacks who have not come over yet, but I assume, will they? They might.
Might.
We got the Elways and the Montanas and the Marinos. And
the Aikmans.
Yep, okay. So I can tell you, first of all, what most fans, I think I would speak for the average fan in the street, they're not going to love the demand for an annual salary. They'd say, well, wait a second, you're a Hall of Famer, and that you can cash in on your fame, that you can speak, you can appear, you can do card shows, right? I'm pretty sure that's going to be the first reaction you're going to hear.
But as you get further and further away removed, Skip, you get less and less visible, so it's not as easy for them to appear and do promotional things and do speaking engagements, say like someone like myself that's on television, or someone like a Jerry Rice. Or
You're fresh.
Right.
People were going to know you.
So, and I get it. You know, card shows, I don't really do them. Had opportunities, but I don't really like to travel. You know, I don't really sound like I don't need the money. I mean, who needs less money? But I'm good. But Skip, I get it. But because I see these guys and I'm looking, man, I'm like, damn. I look at Earl Campbell and I look at some of the guys that's walking with a cane, and I look at some of them and I'm like.
But don't you think fans have just the impression is that, oh, if you play in the NFL, you're rich. You got money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's really
or
what.
you can generate money for the rest of your life.
But the thing is, and the pension, Skip, think about this. Okay, the NFL has a rule. Once you retire, you get health insurance paid for 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, the average guy is leaving the NFL at 25. So he gets health insurance from 25 to 30. And you can't draw your pension until 62, or you take 62.
Yeah, I got it. So now I'm just going to speak personally because I love Eric and I love a lot of guys on this list. But I'm reading the letter and I'm sure most of it came from Eric and his business partner.
Yes.
They pinned it together. So there's one phrase that NFL Hall of Famers are often exploited as unpaid ambassadors of the sport. That hit me just as a longtime crazy NFL fan a little wrong. It rubbed me the wrong way because ambassadors of the sport, well, you want to be, you love your game.
Yeah.
You're in the greatest Hall of Fame of all the Hall of Fames. You're on the greatest team ever. Maybe this is propaganda from the NFL, but to me, I don't know if you're exploited as unpaid ambassadors.
But this is what I would ask you. Is it free to go to the Hall of Fame? Do people have to buy tickets or pay money? If it's free, then I, as a Hall of Famer, I wouldn't expect anything. But if you're charging everybody and making revenue off of it.
To go into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, like to visit it and
I
right?
assume you have to pay.
It is probably the most visited of the sports Hall of Fame.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you got to pay money. They're making money. They're about to break ground on $1 billion structure.
Okay, I got that. But in the end, is it not a privilege and the ultimate honor to be in that place?
Yeah.
Whew.
But I'm riding with them.
Okay.
Health and medical.
All right. So you want to be added to the list?
I'm on the list. They already know where I stand.
Okay.
I walk with them.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
thank you
it sounds like everybody's going to walk with you.
Yeah,
They might be walking out
and
next
hopefully,
August.
hopefully we'll have some kind of look. Okay, guys, this is what we can do. Because I really want to be there for Tony. Tony's a very good friend of mine, and I know Skip. He comes out here and we joke a lot, but we're good friends. And I want to be.
But hopefully the league will take this seriously and they will meet. You got the best of the best saying we're not coming.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Good stuff.
No mercy.
Antonio Brown is a 4-time All-Pro with 60 touchdown catches in 9 seasons, but he still has his critics. A former Steelers PR person called out Antonio on Twitter yesterday. He said, quote, AB needs to thank his lucky stars because he was drafted by a team that had Ben, and Ben got AB paid. You know darn well he wouldn't put up those numbers for other teams. AB responded with, quote, trade me, let's find out. Shannon, what do you make of this exchange on Twitter?
AB is frustrated, and a lot of receivers view their value as tied to catches and touchdowns. AB had 17 targets. He had 9 catches, 67 yards. But he watched Sammy Watkins go over 100. He watched Tyreek Hill have 90. He watched Travis Kelce go over 100. He sees the ball flying around on the other side, and he's like, I'm better than them. And we're throwing the ball just as much as them, but I'm not receiving the benefit. See, a lot of what the receiver does, Skip, he view his value is tied to catches and touchdowns. So he doesn't see if I get a great block and we win the game. Nah, I need catches. I need 12 for $150 and 2 tubs. We win. See what I'm talking about? And then he sees all these other receivers having these monster days. Antonio got frustrated. He let this guy goad him into it.
Yep.
Quarterback is also a dependent position. There's a reason why Coach Belichick took a chance on Josh Gordon. Now, he has Tom Brady. Tom Brady has played the bulk of his career without a true number one receiver, and he's made it work. Tom Brady hadn't had a receiver. When's the last time Tom Brady had a receiver make the Pro Bowl and win the Super Bowl? I'm not talking about Gronk, but when he had Randy Moss, Randy was going to the Pro Bowl, but they weren't winning Super Bowl.
No, they should have.
He had Wes Welker. Wes was going to the Pro Bowl, but they weren't winning Super Bowls. So Tom Brady's like, hey, I can make this thing work. But those guys view their value as if we win, if I run this route and somebody comes in behind me and catches the ball, I've done my job.
Yep.
That's a success. But you have to convince yourself that it's more, your value is more than catching passes. Skip, you don't think I wanted to catch passes? So did Ed, so did Rod. And they worked just as hard as I was. They studied just like I did. But sometimes it wasn't meant to be. Sometimes TD was going to get 35 catches for $180, and Shannon was going to have to block. AB needs to understand that. But I don't fault AB.
No, I don't know.
You know what?
He needs to, but he's not going to.
You know why? Because Mike Tomlin let him do what they want to do on social media.
I agree.
So once you open that door, Skip, once he Facebook Live, what Coach Tomlin was saying after a win, they let him go out there. This is a fraction.
2 years ago at Kansas City.
That was bad, yeah.
This is a fractured locker room because
it is.
We had a situation, okay, this is what we're going to do with the protest. Okay, now you get one guy says, I need to see the flag. Another guy says, well, I need to see the field. And the coaching staff
says, we need to go out there and stand
right.
for the anthem. After
So,
you had agreed the night before to do this all for one and one for all?
And there you go.
Wow.
So AB doesn't want to get traded. He knows he has something special with Ben. But Ben Roethlisberger would not be making the money he's making had he still stayed in the same offense that he had under Coach Cowell, which was turning around, handing the ball to Jerome Bettis and Willie Parker.
I would agree.
So it goes hand in hand.
It does. So, bottom line to everything you just said, okay, I'm going to remind you. Remember after the Facebook Live episode, we had Antonio on the show at Houston at the Super Bowl.
Correct.
And you had been very strong because you were pretty much done with him at that point, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted his money.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, if not shock, they went ahead that offseason and they gave him his money. What they give him, 4 years, $68 million. It's not huge money, but $19 million bonus, which is $19 million for him guaranteed.
Right.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So they went ahead and invested long-term in Antonio Brown.
Correct.
And to me, you know how I feel about diva wide receivers. They can be more trouble than they can be worth. And in Antonio's case, to me, he's gone over the edge into team-threatening self-promoter via social media because he is Mr. Social Media. I don't know if anybody's more active or more successful than he is this side of LeBron James, but he's not LeBron James.
Right.
And he doesn't play the sport LeBron plays or the position in that sport where LeBron can control the whole game.
Everything.
If he wants to.
Correct.
But in this case, he is dependent on getting the football thrown to him. And it sounded like it got so bad. I'm just reading the reports of the game Sunday. Again, the Kansas City debacle at home, but they cut it to 42-37 late in the game. And on third down, they were third and goal. Ben flips it to Juju for a -2 yards, and he was upset. You could see him be upset with Antonio. I don't know what happened, but he didn't like what he did on the play.
Right. Yep.
So Antonio wasn't happy, and on fourth down, Ben ran it in from 3 yards to make it 42-37. And as the team celebrated around Roethlisberger, Antonio by himself went alone back to the bench. Well, that's just part and parcel of what's going on with this troubled football team. And don't get me started on what happened, was it 2 weeks ago, when it felt like the whole team, or at least half the team, turned on Le'Veon.
There you go.
A holdout superstar. who just wants his money.
Right.
And everybody said, hell with your money, right? Have you ever, I'd never seen that before.
Never.
Okay.
And to a man, everybody says, you don't talk about the one thing, you don't talk about someone's money.
Yeah.
You stay out of that.
Okay, so what did Antonio do last year in the Chicago game? When he was probably frustrated with Ben over the protest issue, but remember he didn't get some balls thrown in his direction. He took the whole Gatorade.
That was Baltimore game. That was the Baltimore game.
Oh, I was thinking it was the Chicago game.
No, it was
Baltimore, and he threw it on the field,
yes,
right?
he threw it.
Okay.
And then he comes back the next week against Jacksonville. He gets 19 targets. They lose, but he has like 15.
Targets?
Yeah.
Wow, 19 targets. So there was an excellent, insightful piece last week on the Undefeated by Jesse Washington, and the headline was, Antonio Brown is an Instagram All-Pro, but is that the full picture, question mark? Well, the piece said, no, it's not the full picture, and then the subheadline was, the best wide receiver in the NFL has a lot to say, but only on social media, meaning you can't interview him in open forums after the games because he won't even submit to that. He won't subject himself to open Q&A sort of questions. And in the piece, the writer says that he was threatened by Antonio Brown via social media, by direct message, because he dared to try to interview some people close to Antonio about what's he really like. So it got kind of ugly at the end of the piece, but I think there's a different Antonio, because he's got one of the best smiles in sports, if not the best smile. But I think there's something underneath there that's not all that pretty, and it's just another indication of how, to your point, fractured or troubled this football team is, which is why I'm still picking Cincinnati to win this division.
The thing is, Skip, that you always have to be careful of is that you reward negative behavior. If a child goes to the store and they fall on the floor and they start yelling and screaming, if you give them ice cream, you give them candy, what happens every time they go to the store and you don't give them that? So Antonio was lashing out. He was doing things, and they rewarded him.
They did.
At first, Skip, he was like, I'm threatening to do this, and he was bucking. They gave him an extra $2 to $3 million in his contract. Last year, he did what he did, and they rewarded him. So the thing is, you have to be careful. Coach Tomlin should set parameters. Now, I'm not telling you, look, you don't have, like I said, in New England, they had some Mr. Kraft, Coach Belichick, Tom Brady. But from a locker room perspective, you don't see this.
Yep.
And in Pittsburgh, you're seeing this. They're too talented to be in the situation that they're in right now. But when you have a lot of bickering, and it seems to be a lot of people are jealous, or it's we. No, it ain't no we. It's the Steelers. It's the Steelers, and then it's the players. And as soon as you understand that, and this is why, and I talked to someone in that Steelers locker room, a player, I said, this is why you're never going to have guaranteed contracts. Because you can't even get along with somebody in your locker room. You give less than a D about somebody in somebody else's locker room, and the owners know that. They pit you against each other, you fall for it, and they sit back, we got them again. I don't get it. Dude had 17 targets, Skip. How many balls does Antonio Brown expect the Steelers to throw at him? Think about that, Skip.
Yep.
Antonio, over the last 3 to 4 years, has way more targets than anybody else.
He does.
He should never complain. If you threw me that many balls, Skip,
Yep.
I can go a game without catching a pass.
Yep.
Because I know the next game you're going to make up for it by throwing me 21 targets.
Yep. So I always say that beyond baseball, hockey, basketball, football is the one team sport based so much on unity.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to have a unified locker room to win a championship.
Yes.
You know that because you're a part of two of them,
Yes.
right? And in this case, I look at the Steelers as fractured, and I look at last year's Eagles. They united around that underdog motif. You know, that was their driving force.
Yes.
That was their theme of the year. Nobody respects us. They pulled together, and that was a together football team without a real. Well, their quarterback couldn't even
But he
play.
was hurt.
Yeah, so the backup quarterback wins the championship, and it was kind of a starless championship.
Right.
Like they got a lot of really good players on defense, but is there a superstar breakout, magazine cover?
No, they don't have a Von Miller.
They
didn't
don't
have a
have it.
Khalil Mack.
No.
I mean, Fletcher Cox is the closest thing, but when we talk about, we go into a lot of defensive players before we get to Fletcher
Well,
Cox.
Brandon Graham is.
Yeah.
That's what everybody tells me is that Brandon Graham's even better than Fletcher Cox.
Right.
Well, most people don't even know who
Brandon,
he is or couldn't
right.
pick him out of a lineup,
Right. Yeah.
And on offense, did they have a superstar? Is Alshon a superstar?
No,
He's
no.
really good, but he's not a superstar, right?
No.
Their offensive line, collectively, you could say, is a superstar
Yeah.
unit, but they don't have
Well, the only
one
person you
superstar.
know about is Lane Johnson because he does all
Because
the
he did
talking.
that, but you didn't know about it until he started talking really after the Super
And then
Bowl.
Kelsey,
right?
you know about Kelsey after the Super Bowl when he got up there and gave his speech.
Unity. And Antonio, to me, is becoming more and more of a solo act where it's him and the team is over here. And whatever the team's doing is irrelevant to his solo act because he is becoming a superstar on social. He's already a superstar on social media. And I don't know if the twain shall meet. I don't know if you can win a championship with that kind of guy playing that way at that position.
Well, you can't win a championship with that kind of locker room. Yeah. That's what you can't do.
You can't. No, I agree.
Someone's got to be the one to make those rules and call them out.
Coach Tomlin.
Okay, we have breaking Antonio Brown news. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is reporting Antonio Brown did not show up to team meetings yesterday. The reason is unclear, but it comes a day after AB had an exchange with a former Steelers PR man on Twitter who said he owed his success to Big Ben. Brown responded saying, quote, "Trade me. Let's find out if he could have success with another team." Shannon, what's your reaction?
I hope Antonio AB had this absence approved by Coach Tomlin.
Unclear at this point.
Because if he didn't, this is a very bad look.
Yes, it is.
It almost looked like he's pouting, he's sulking because things didn't go quite the way he envisioned on Sunday, and he's upset. And this is just not a good look. I don't know what's going on, but the Rooneys are watching, and this is not a good look for Coach Tomlin. Coach needs to have a meeting and say, guys, okay, I've tried to give you guys some slack, some leeway, but you're taking my kindness for weakness. So I'm about to put the kibosh on a lot of this foolishness. All this chirping and all this excess talking, this is going to cease. It starts with you, AB. Then I'm going to have a meeting with the team, and then I'm going to have an individual meeting with Antonio.
So I've covered a lot of NFL teams in my day, and the one line you don't cross is missing work, just flat out with no excuse, missing work. I don't know teams that will abide that. They won't let that slide.
I'm like, what the hell you doing? It's not like you skipping school. You're like, okay, I don't want to go to class today.
I don't know.
You got a job.
Boy, this could be the beginning of the end of this football team, and it might be the beginning of the end of his time in Pittsburgh because this organization's not going to sit still.
This is not a good look, Skip,
Yeah.
because this is unnecessary, and I don't know what's going on with Antonio. I don't know why he's upset. He's got his money.
He did.
Whether you catch 5 passes or 15, Antonio, your check's going to be the same, bro.
You got to show up for work.
No mercy.
The Seahawks are now 0-2 after losing on the road to the Bears. Russell Wilson was sacked 6 times after also getting sacked 6 times week 1. Wilson also threw a pick 6 in the fourth quarter to seal the win for the Bears. And next up for Seattle, Skip's Cowboys, Sunday on Fox. Shannon, how much trouble is Seattle in?
Tons of trouble. Let's Skip, I don't know. Vegas said 8 games. There's no way they're winning 8 games. 0 chance they win 8 games. Their offensive line is terrible. There's no way Russell can make it through the season at this place, Skip. 12 sacks already. He's been sacked the most since he's been in the league. 260 sacks, 60 fumbles, no Doug Baldwin, no running game. The defense stays on the field an awful lot. Skip, can you believe this? Only 3 players from the starting D that started against the Patriots are still on the team.
Yep.
Bobby Wagner, K.J. Wright, Earl Thomas. Everyone else is gone. Bobby Wagner and K.J. Wright are hurt. So only Earl Thomas is available to play.
Quarterback's still there.
Quarterback's still there.
Yeah.
He's about the only thing that's still there. I don't know how much longer he's going to be in one piece. This is why I said what I said after they lost that game. I said, never be the same. And Skip, if they're going through this right now, you could always look back and say, you know what? They did get 2 Super Bowls, so they had something really nice. They had that was a great little run they had. For a 4-year stretch to get 2 Super Bowls out of it, man, that ain't bad.
What they did to your Broncos?
Yeah. And they had an opportunity to follow that back up, Skip.
They did.
But it's over. This team is in rebuild mode. This is it. They're terrible, Skip. I mean, there's no way around it. You looking at them last night, I'm like, huh? I'm surprised they scored 17 because for the first half, I'm like, I don't believe they're going to get I don't even believe they're going to get the ball in the end zone, Skip. I don't know. But it wasn't until the more I watch Mitchell Trubisky, the less I like him, Skip. I mean, you never liked it, but
Never liked it.
I'm starting to. I'm like, okay, he might be It might not be. What about Khalil? You think Khalil could help the Raiders? Oh, my bad. I don't really talk about Khalil back because he looked real good.
That's too easy. That's just piling on.
Boy, Seattle, your guys are in trouble. You got sacked 6 times by Chicago, 6 times by the Broncos, and the Cowboys come to town after just jumping on Eli's head all night long.
Cowboys second in the NFL in sacks so far with 9.
Oh, you proud of yourself. You like saying that, too.
Well,
look at you saying that.
They can rush the passer. That's one thing we can do.
Yeah.
And Randy Gregory was in concussion protocol against Eli, or Eli might be in concussion protocol right now.
He still might be. We just don't know about
Yeah.
it. Skip, they're not a very good football team. They're completely in rebuild mode. They don't have weapons around Russell to help him make plays. The offensive line is in shambles. The defense is not the same. The Legion of Boom is gone. Richard Sherman got released. Cliff Averill and Cam Chancellor had to retire.
Yep. Michael Bennett.
They traded Michael Bennett. Skip, this is not the same team. So the days of the Seattle or the 12th man in Seattle, that's over. And it's not coming back. And they squandered that opportunity that they had.
So I see what you're trying to do to me.
What am I trying to do?
I know exactly.
What?
It's painfully transparent what
What?
you're trying to do. It's amusingly transparent. You're trying to rile up the Seahawks to pull off the upset of my Cowboys, although it really wouldn't be an upset because it sounds like the spread's going to be Seattle -3, so they're going to get 3 for home field. So I think Vegas looks at it as kind of a toss-up.
It ain't no toss-up.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Skip, the past 2 weeks, you've seen the Seahawks play.
I have. But what does disturb me is that both Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright could be back Sunday. I know it's a short week for them. They're going to have to travel after Chicago, so that's advantage Dallas. But if those 2 guys come back, they were actually last night.
They play in Dallas?
No, it's in Seattle.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So the point is that with those 2 guys back, I thought they were decent on defense last night. Again, albeit against Mitchell Trubisky.
Which one going to play tackle and which one going to play guard? Which one going to block for Russ?
That's a very good question, which brings us back to Russell Wilson. And to me, last night, he was playing out of character because it's him or bust.
Yes.
And he doesn't have Doug Baldwin, and I'm not sure he's iffy for Sunday, but
Right.
that's really about all he's got target-wise, right?
The tight end looks to be pretty good.
He's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. But the point is, Russell Wilson feels like he has to win the game pretty much all by himself.
He does.
And so he holds on the ball too long. He does things that are out of character. And the pick 6 he threw just was shocking to me because it's so out of character for him. And I don't know what they were doing. They line up the rookie running back, Rashad Penny, at wideout.
Right.
And he stands right up and tries to hit him quick in the flat with it. And he throws it right to Amukamara. What?
And that's what.
What?
Because here's the thing.
What are you doing? I've never seen Amukamara make one play.
No.
He's played for 7 years. I can't remember him making a single play.
And he played, wasn't he in Jacksonville?
Yeah,
He
he played 5 years with the Giants, 1 in Jacksonville, and he's been there for a year.
But this is what, come on, first of all, who's going to run the running back on a go route? So
I don't
So
know.
the corner's going to squat.
That's
So
what
if
he
you
did.
raise up and throw the
I
stop
know.
route, this is what's going to happen.
I don't know
to
what
you.
they were doing.
But Skip, Russ has always been more off-script improvisation
Yep.
than anything. And that's what he's had to do. But now he doesn't have blocking. And the thing what people don't understand, the more mobile the quarterback, the more likely he's to get sacked. Because Russ ran himself into some sacks.
He did.
Because he feels I'm getting away from it on this side, and he runs himself on the backside.
Okay, but when you're up against Khalil on one side and Akeem Hicks and others coming from
Yes,
everywhere,
yes.
it's hard, man.
Yes.
It was hard for Aaron Rodgers. It was hard for Deshaun Kaiser.
So now you leave Denver where they get you 6 times. You go to Chicago where they get you 6 times.
Yep.
And now you get Atlanta. Now you get the Cowboys coming into your building. Who gonna block DeMarcus Lawrence?
I hope nobody.
What you mean you hope nobody?
I hope
Nobody's gonna.
nobody. I don't know. They might get inspired by you ripping them.
They're not gonna get it.
You're trying to give them a pep talk. I know what you're doing. But
I'm
it's
sorry,
okay.
but this is not the 80 hockey team. This is not the Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
There will be no miracles up in Seattle.
Well, my team might need a little bit of a miracle to get out alive, but we'll see. So I got one thing going for me. I got revenge because do you remember what happened on December 24th at Jerry World last year?
You're right.
My team could have won 10 games last year, and at 10-6, they
It
would have had
would've
a
been a
long
playoff.
shot at the playoffs.
Yeah.
After losing Zeke for 6 and Sean Lee for 6 and Ty Smith for 4,
okay.
they could have been right
Could've.
there because of that quarterback.
Could've been a
He was
contender.
the same quarterback that you said gets an F for his season. But guess what happened?
What happened?
Seattle goes to Jerry World, and they pull it out 21-12, and it was the ultimate Dez Bryant nightmare
now
game.
you're gonna break.
I'm sorry, but I just have to make the point. This is when it hit bottom. You remember what happened early in that game? He hits Dez with a pass over on the left side, if we'd see that play. And Dez, I don't know what he's doing. He just hold on, up, nope, he didn't hold on. He just fumbled.
He didn't just fumble. The guy made a great play.
Oh, did he? He made a great play. This is
great punch.
Legion of Boom.
That's Maxwell.
Okay, and then we got a real shot in the third quarter, and it looks like we're about to drive here, and here we go over the middle. Up. What's Dez doing?
Jenny.
Yes.
But you know what I noticed?
What?
He didn't show that overthrow to Zeke that went for a pick six. I noticed he didn't show that.
You know, I think that was in Dez's
No,
direction. I think it was. I think he was looking for Dez.
No, he overthrew Zeke.
Did you see this? What are they doing? You want to talk about not on the same page, not on the same wavelength? It's just horrendous. This is when I just sat back and said, just get it over with. Just put me out of my misery. I don't want to see him anymore.
But here's the thing, Skip. Dez doesn't normally run routes like that.
Not like that.
So all you do, that's what we call a short cross. You go 5 yards, you sit up over the ball.
And you gotta know where you are in
You
the
can't drift. No, you just go sit up and you give it.
Right. And Dak thought he'd sat down.
But what about that overthrow to Zeke?
Okay, he did. He got pick six.
So whose fault was that?
Hey.
Say it.
What about 1st and goal at the 3 and you wind up with a 34-yard field goal and Dan Bailey missed it? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. I don't want to talk about the pick six.
I want you to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. It was one of those things where he's trying to get it to Dez
What
Bryant.
thing?
Huh?
It wasn't going to the Dez. He overthrew Zeke.
Okay. No, he was trying to hit Dez.
No,
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
he was.
Skip Bayless, I can't believe you.
So in the end, obviously there's no more Dez Bryant, but it's a collection of number 3. So with those collection of number 3 receivers, including, I hope, Bryce Butler, I don't know if he'll be ready to go by then.
You guys should win by 14.
By 14.
Give me 14.
I'm not going to get. So you're doing the reverse bet. Like, what
Give
are
me
you
14
talking
points.
about?
Give me 14 points.
Well, why would I do that? You're saying that Seattle's a bunch of bums.
That's why I need 14.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that.
Why?
Because it'd be a stupid bet on my part. I think it's going to be a battle.
You got Dak Prescott.
They got Russell Wilson.
No, Dak better than Russell.
He makes magic.
Dak better than Russell.
Huh? He isn't there. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Well, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. That's a lie.
Hey,
Russell
Wilson's won a Super Bowl and played in 2.
And played great in another one.
He did. He played great. He just got Brady'd in the other one.
No, he got
Brady'd.
He got Pete Carroll.
Brady'd with 124 yards in the fourth quarter.
He went caroling.
Yeah,
because I don't know why Pete Carroll, Darrell Bevel.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm still upset.
Yeah.
I'm like Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman probably see Darrell Bevel and Pete Carroll. He might punch both of them.
Well, that team got split
Okay,
around that quarterback,
Give
right?
me 10.
Huh?
10 points.
I'm not going to give you any points. I just want a W. I just want to be able to eat at your restaurant, and this is going to be survival mode.
First of all, Skip Bayless, you watched them the last 2 weeks.
I have.
You saw what Seattle put on
What if
tape.
Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright run out there on the field and the 12th man goes berserk?
Oh, they're going to go berserk. But who's blocking for Russ? Is Walter Jones coming back?
Hey,
Steve Hutchinson coming back?
I should ask, who's blocking for Dak? I think that might be a better question.
You got Tyron Smith. You still got Zach Martin.
Really?
Zach Martin.
Yeah. They're used to be's.
First of all,
all of them.
When was the last time they got a sack? Did they sack Trubisky last night?
Who, Seattle?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Did they? It seemed like they did.
That's my point. No Bobby, no Cliff Averill, no Bennett.
What's his name from Penn State? I can't think of his name. He's pretty good. They got one right.
Clark?
Yeah, Clark. Yeah. He was creating some havoc last night.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not. You should be ashamed of yourself with your transparent attempt to inspire the Seahawks and get me to give you points. I don't do Rob Parker bets.
Just so you know, Seattle 1-point favorites. So.
1 point.
1 point.
Yesterday it was 3. So now after people saw him last night, it goes.
Yeah, because they give me 11.
Yeah.
11?
I'm not going to give you nothing. I mean, 0 points.
Come on, Skip.
Yeah.
Give me a chance to win.
I'll take Dallas even because I
wish I might give you
stick
Dallas.
by my squad.
No,
somebody I know.
Shannon, he just wants in at the restaurant.
Give me 10 points.
All he wants is that W.
I'm not giving you nothing.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. Have a good day.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.